white, are you able to do so? Obviously, your answer would be because we have eyes. But have you ever wondered how our eyes are able to see things? Or what is the internal structure of the human eye? That is what we'll be studying in this session. The human eye, its internal structure and working. Our eyes are a remarkable evolutionary creation of nature. On the working phenomena of the human eye, different innovations, designs, inventions of all the optical instruments are based. Without our eyes, all the optical instruments would have no value at all. Without our eyes, we would not be able to define light. The optical instruments like telescope, microscope, film projectors, camera, spectacles, etc. work on the refraction principle of light through different types of artificial lenses made up of transparent glass. Our eyes also work on the same refraction principle of light, but through a natural convex lens made up of transparent living tissues. Students, do you know that our eyes have the ability to detect over 70 lakh different colors? And have you ever wondered why we have two eyes instead of having just one? It would be bizarre to think, isn't it? But us having two eyes would definitely have some advantage. So let us know what are the advantages. Having two eyes provides the advantage that it has a wider field of view as compared to having just one. For example, one human eye has a field of view of about 150 degrees. But if we see with both the eyes, the horizontal field of view increases to up to 180 degrees. Also, the ability to detect faint objects is enhanced greatly with having two eyes instead of having just one. Students, our eyes are different from different animals. For example, I, human being, can move my eyes from side to side and from up and down. But an owl cannot do so. Therefore, it has to rotate its entire head to look in different directions. Also, the owl and many other nocturnal animals, they have the ability to see in very low light intensities, which ability our human eyes does not have. We cannot see properly in low light intensities, but we can see things upside down. Our human eyes have a resolution of over 576 megapixels. Now, imagine yourself paying huge bucks of money for a smartphone which has camera features of not more than 46 megapixels. Our eyes are the best camera that we have got. Students, you might have also heard about the radio and the X-ray telescopes. But have you ever wondered why such instruments came into being? It is because our eyes are not sensitive to all the bands of the electromagnetic spectrum. Our eyes are only sensitive to the visible part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Therefore, in order to understand those things which we cannot perceive with our eyes, such instruments were invented. But within the visible range of the electromagnetic spectrum, the beautiful world around us and all the spectacular natural phenomena that we see, for example, the sunrise, the sunset, rainbow, etc., are visible to us only because of the eyes. So, we can say that our eyes are one of the most valuable and sensitive sense organs in our body. Now, let us look at the internal structure of our eye. Students, we all know that our eyes are located on the front part of our face. But did you know that this also has an advantage? The location of our eyes not only help us to see the objects but also perceive its depth. Now, if we want to look at the internal internal structure of our eye, let us consider only the eye part and remove the skin and the hair. We can see that our eye is like a spherical structure. Therefore, it is also called the eyeball. The eyeball of the human being has a diameter of about 2.3 centimeter. Now, in order to understand and see the internal structures, let us have a view of the eye from the side. We'll zoom the eyeball here. So this is our human eye from the side view. We'll discuss about all the parts and their functions. First of all, let us discuss about that part which is most prominently visible to us. You can see it is the iris. Here, this is the iris. So the iris is a colored ring-shaped membrane. So remember, when you are complimenting someone that you like the color of their eyes, you are actually saying that you like the color of their iris. Mine is brown. What's yours? Now, students, if you look carefully into your eyes, if you look carefully into your iris, you can see that there is a small black shaped dot at the center of the iris. What is that? Let us see. Here, you can see that at the center of the iris, there is a small hole which is called the pupil. The pupil allows the light rays to enter our eyes so that we can see the object. But the lighting conditions are not the same at all places and at all times. For example, when we go out on a bright sunny day, lots of light rays would be entering through the pupil, which might even damage the cells in our eyes. In such a situation, the pupil constricts, thus allowing less light rays to enter our eyes. Likewise, in a situation with poor lighting condition, less amount of light rays would be entering through the pupil and we might not be able to see the object clearly. In such a situation, the pupil dilates, thus allowing more light rays to enter into our eyes so that we can see the object clearly. All these things you can easily understand with the help of an activity. Sit in a dark room for some time and then place a mirror in front of you so that you can see the changes that will happen afterwards. Now, switch on the light or flashlight into your eyes. You can immediately see your pupils going from being dilated to constricted. So students, we have seen that the iris controls the size of the pupil, which in turn controls the amount of light entering our eyes. Now, let us have a look at the first part of our eye. This is called the cornea. The cornea is a thin transparent membrane which bulges outward. Most of the refraction of the light rays entering the eye occurs at the outer surface of the cornea. Then, we have this biconvex transparent structure called the eye lens. The eye lens makes final adjustment of the focal length required to focus objects on different distances on the retina. We can see that the eye lens is surrounded by some ciliary muscles, whose main job is to control the shape and the curvature of the eye lens. And the space between the cornea and the eye lens is filled with a watery liquid called the aqueous humor. Now that we have known how the light rays enter the eyeball, the main question is, where is the image formed? The image is formed on the back of the eyeball on a light-sensitive screen called the retina. The retina has numerous photosensitive cells like the rods and the cones. The retina is connected to the brain by some nerves called the optic nerves. The optic nerves carry signals from the retina to the brain. And the point at which the optic retina, at that point there are no photosensitive cells. Therefore, no image can be formed at that point. So, that point is called the blind spot. And the space between the lens and the retina, this whole space is filled with a transparent jelly-like substance called the vitreous humor. The vitreous humor is responsible for maintaining the shape of the eyeball. Now that we have learned about the structure, let us have a look at the working of the human eye. The working of the human eye is somewhat similar to that of a camera. First of all, the light rays reflected from an object enter into the eyeball through the cornea. The cornea bends these light rays through the pupil. This bent rays then enter through the eye's crystalline lens. The eye lens, being convex in nature, forms a real and inverted image on the retina. The cells of the retina then convert these light rays into electrical signals, which are then transmitted to the brain via the optic nerve. The brain then interprets these signals and finally processes the information so that we see the object as it is. So students, in this session we have learned about the human eye, its structure and its working. In our next session we shall learn about the power of accommodation of the human eye.